Welcome in, everyone, to Behind the Call, the podcast where we dive into the stories behind the voices of the games we all know and love. Today, I'm extremely excited to be joined by Dr. Sam Ferguson, the new athletic director at where I'm currently attending the University of Texas at Tyler. Dr. Ferguson, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. How are we feeling? I know you told me to call you Sam, but
Call me
Dr. Ferguson,
Sam.
how are we doing?
Yeah, please call me Sam. Things are great. Thanks for having me on your podcast. I've watched your first two episodes. Loved your guests, but more than that, I loved how you handled your business on those podcasts. So it's an honor to be here with you today. And by the way, Dr. Mogul has already sung your praises about the type of student and the type of talent you have. And so excited to get to know you better and excited to be with you during this podcast.
That's awesome to hear. Thank you. Again, for taking the time. I know it's real busy. So just to give the listeners a little bit of background on you, Dr. Ferguson brings more than 25 years of leadership experience in college athletics to UT Tyler, including over 15 years as an athletic director. He's held key roles at places like Abilene Christian and McMurray University, and now he's stepping into his first full school year leading UT Tyler athletics. So to kind of start things off, what drew you to UT Tyler? What stood out about this opportunity, and kind of what was the process like that got you here?
Well, I tell people all the time it was going to take something really special to pull me away from Abilene Christian. That's a community I've been a part of for 11 years, the city of Abilene, that is. Loved the coaches and the student athletes at ACU, loved the donors and the alumni there. I was having a great experience. But when UT Tyler is an opportunity, you have to pay attention to that. This is a place where you can win national championships, which there's evidence of that already in my first 4 months on the job.
Yeah.
The city of Tyler is a phenomenal community. I want to be a part of a community that I can raise my son, Caden, and Angelo, and that they can, a place that I feel good about them living. And my wife, of course, Kim. Man, it's the people, honestly. I wanted to be at a place where you could be competitive. I wanted to be in a good community, but when I met the people at UT Tyler, I was all in. I would have done this job for free after my interview when I met with Dr. Philly and heard her vision for UT Tyler and just met the people around this campus. I'd volunteer for this work.
Yeah. So kind of
paycheck's nice, but I would volunteer for
it. That's a little added on part. So kind of what are your first impressions of Tyler? How similar is it to Abilene? How have the people treated you, and kind of what are your thoughts on it so far in the short span you've been here so far?
Man, great people in both places. There's some similarities. When I moved to Abilene, I was in transition, had not yet sold my house in Virginia where we were moving from. And this family reached out to me and invited me to live in their garage apartment, and really took care of me while my family was in transition. The exact same thing happened when I came to Tyler. Two different families stepped up and said, "Hey, we've got this place. We'd love to have you." And so the people in both communities are fabulous. The values are very similar. It's a little greener here in Tyler. I tell people all the time I've traded pump jacks for roses, but both phenomenal communities, great institutions at both stops. Just there's so much I can say about both places. I don't feel like it's an even swap in all the places that really matter. UT Tyler here is in working for Dr. Philly and this coaching staff, these student athletes, give Tyler a leg up for me, because I'm just thrilled to be a Patriot.
Awesome. So more so like on the athletic sides, we're talking a little bit about the city and the community, but so the athletics that you kind of inherit in a way, and that you come in and you see how they are. What do you feel like's here? Do you feel like there's a lot of good programs and every single one of our teams can compete for national championships? Is that the goal? Is softball winning a national championship in that first, stint that you got here at the end of last year. Uh, does that kind of put a little bit of increased pressure, or does that raise the bar in a good way? Kind of, what are your thoughts early on about the athletic side of things?
Well, first off, Howard Patterson did a phenomenal job building this program, and then Coach Bezot stepping in the interim role to just keep it rolling. Um, Another reason why I was interested in this job is I didn't feel like I was going to have to come in and fix anything. A lot of times when there are opportunities that present themselves, you're trying to, you need to fix something. I would call this, in a lot of ways, a well-oiled machine, and I feel like I'm drinking from a well that Howard Patterson and Chris Bezot and the coaches that have been here and before have dug. So no, I think the sky's the limit at UT Tyler. 11 of our 17 sports last year competed in postseason play, NCAA play. We finished 34th in the Learfield Cup. That's, of all the Division II institutions out there, we're among the top 35.
Mm.
There's a lot to be grateful for here. But when you think about what my goals are, I tell our coaches at every staff meeting, I want to mold our student athletes into champions. Champions in character. We want to act well. We want to represent UT Tyler really well. We want to be champions in competition. We want to win championships. We want to win games. And we want to create champions in their careers. We want our student athletes to learn life skills that they can transfer beyond their playing days and give themselves an advantage in the marketplace and just launch future leaders of tomorrow.
And kind of in your experience so far in your career, how much does that part that you're talking about winning and really, creating athletes that know how to do more than just play sports, how much does that come down to the leadership at the department level?
Man, I think it's important in the fact that you hire good people, you give them the resources to be successful, and then you stay out of their way. I tell people all the time, certain members of our staff, if you don't show up for work, it'll be a disaster, but if I don't show up, you may not even notice. So I can't put a ton of importance on what I do. I think the important thing that I would do in this seat is encourage our coaches, support our coaches, encourage our student athletes, support our student athletes, our staff, and give them the resources they need to be successful and get out of their way. Just let them do their things. Hire good people and then let them do good things.
So you were a two-sport athlete, if I'm not mistaken, right? In college, you played golf and basketball. Don't make that face. I mean, even if you weren't the best in the world.
I was not the best in the world. I tell people all the time, I was more Bobby Boucher, if that means anything to you, than Michael Jordan on the basketball court. And I was not a great golfer either, but those experiences shaped my life, and that's why I'm in this. Yeah. I have to remind my alma mater that I played athletics there. And there's nothing in there. There's nothing that they come across that reminds them that Sam Ferguson once was a student athlete.
No highlight reels, 30-point triple doubles, nothing like that.
No, none of that stuff. None of that stuff. But it changed my life. And
to a point, it's gotta help you relate, no matter how good you were, no matter how talented you were. Like, how much does it help you relate to the student athletes that you're kind of caring for, but trying to help along the way on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I know what they're going through. And I was a student athlete. I was a pain in the rear end for my coach, but my basketball coach was also my golf coach, Kirk Chandler. And, I say prayers for him. I'm grateful for that guy, because putting up with me for an entire year is, that was a lot in my college days. So because of who I was in college and what I did in college and how I was to coach in college, I got a ton of respect for our coaches and our student athletes. I know what they're going through. I know that we ask our coaches to be good at a lot of things. It's a hard job. And so any hurdle that stands between them and success that I can knock down, I feel like that's the biggest role I play as the athletic director at UT Tyler.
And you said it's a hard job. For those of us in athletics, we know how hard it can be. Kind of what is your approach to kind of building trust with coaches, staff, and players, especially early on?
Yeah. Well, interestingly, we had a gentleman named Travis Wyckoff come to speak to our staff last week. And so I'm going to share this, and I would have shared this anyway, but I'm going to attribute this to Travis because Travis is a big part of my leadership. I think the best way to build trust is to connect with people, to take an interest in our student athletes and our coaches beyond, and our staff beyond what they can do for us. So value relationships, connect, to be clear, make sure that they know what the expectations are, connection, clarity, and then competence, to just work hard to be good at your job and to get better every day. So I think that's what Travis says, and I agree with. Through connection, clarity, and competence, we can build influence. Another thing I think is really important is to give trust before it is given. So Chase, if I trust you before you trust me, then I think you're more likely to begin trusting me if I start trusting you. So to give it before it is given, I think is super important. And then, I want to start with the premise of yes. If someone asks me for something, I want to find a way to make it happen. I think too often in my leadership journey in the past, I have looked for reasons not to do something for whatever, maybe it's budgetarily or something. I want to say yes as often as possible. And when coaches and staff and student athletes know that you want to make it happen, you might not be able to, but you're going to exhaust every opportunity before you say no. I think those things are really important, again, because it's hard to be a student athlete and it's hard to be a coach. They're both packed with pressure. And I don't want to add unnecessary pressure to these men and women.
Yeah. So, how has working at a smaller school like McMurray, obviously not small, they're Division III still, right? Did they go? It was NAIA to Division III, correct?
They've been Division III since like 1997.
Oh, okay. Maybe I read the wrong thing. But
they did have a stint in Division II, but they're currently Division III.
So you've worked at kind of smaller schools like McMurray, and then all the way up to ACU, obviously being a Division I. Kind of how has that helped you being able to see both ends of the spectrum, whether that be budget wise, how many teams you have? How has it kind of helped you and shaped your leadership philosophy in a little bit?
Well, I don't think I'm not here today without the experience I had at Averett and McMurray, and then also the experience I had at ACU. So at Averett and McMurray, you had to get your hands dirty. Mm-hmm. Chase, there were times you would go to a McMurray basketball game and you might see Sam Ferguson, the athletic director, with a broom in his hand.
Oh, I know it. I'm a JUCO guy through and through. I know how it is.
Yeah, man. You got to get your hands dirty at a place like McMurray and Averett. Great places. Just staff is smaller, mm-hmm. and work ethic is huge. So you're wearing lots of hats. I was doing things administratively outside of athletics in addition to my athletic director duties. And, then when COVID came, you just blow up everything. And it's, my hands stayed dirty at those places. Then I get to ACU and I'm more focused. So there's less that I'm still working a lot, but I'm focused in a specific area. And that area was revenue generation. And so at McMurray, again, I learned that, hey, you got to have a strong work ethic. It takes grit to do well in athletics. Then I get to ACU, and I realize that there's a bar, there's a standard that needs to be met,
Hmm.
and anything below excellence is not acceptable. And so I learned to work hard at the small schools, and then at Division I level, I learned that okay, the standard needs to be high, and UT Tyler deserves a high standard.
Kind of talk to me a little bit about. Now, I'm not expecting you to give me the whole whiteboard breakdown of what your plans are as the athletic director, but maybe give me a little bit of where do you see UT Tyler athletics being in 5 months, or in 5 years? Kind of what is your plan on a little bit of a wider from a little bit of a wider lens on what you want to accomplish here?
Well, the big thing we need to accomplish is we want to get our students really, really excited about UT Tyler athletics. We want to get the city of Tyler on board with UT Tyler athletics. We've got great teams, but we need to do a better job engaging with our stakeholders. And so today's the second day of our new coordinator of creative content. We've hired Leslie Hurdle, who's going to help us push our message out to our community via the social channels. I've been trying to get out into the community as much as possible. I've reached out to some students who are influencers on campus, and they're going to help me connect with the Greek Life and other student orgs to get our students out. That's really the big thing that we're focused on. We want to win. We want to win. There's some things we need to do from a facility standpoint. Those are more long-term. Immediately, we are working hard to try to connect with the city of Tyler, to try to connect with our students. So when Coach Mash coaches a volleyball match, she's got 800 people to 1,000 people inside the HPC rather than maybe 200 or 300.
And talk about how, because I played high school basketball and played my freshman year of college. Talk about something that people maybe don't understand that don't attend a lot of sports, but kind of go into what type of difference does it make for these players to be able to go into a home game at the Herring Patriot Center and see a crowd like that, and it's feel like you have the support of the community behind you every play.
Well, I mean, it's all about encouragement. Right? How do you feel the last time you felt like someone said something nice and cheered for you, or was a cheerleader for you? It makes you feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And it's encouragement is huge and gives us an unfair advantage. Maybe to some level, discouragement towards the other team. It could help us. I've heard some pretty creative heckles in my days. All those things matter. When you can fill an arena, it becomes a recruiting tool for you. If you bring a recruit and you see 200 people at a basketball game, that sends a message, well, it's not that important here. But if we've got over 1,000 fans jumping up and down and screaming and engaged, then I can, as a recruit, look around and see myself having a good time and performing well in that environment. So there's a reason teams that play at home have a higher winning percentage. If the dimensions of the court or the field are the same, but the people in the stands and the encouragement they provide, it's huge. And one of the things we're focused on here is we've got great teams. So it's not that it's not that
there's no lack of talent at all.
Yeah, the success of our teams is not the barrier. What we figured out, I think we're going to test it out, is we haven't done a great job capturing the experience and sharing the experience and focusing on the experience of the fan. Aiden Mays is one of the young men that's going to help us. He's a student here, junior, I believe. Yeah, he's a junior. He's the one that's going to help us drive student attendance, and his big term is user-centered experience, so customer-centered experience. So we want to make everything about the fan when they come in. We want to turn the camera to some extent, from the court, from the field to the fan, and capture what it's like to be a fan at UT Tyler and throw that out there so families and students and the community can see themselves having a great time here when they're watching our teams compete. And if we can show them that they'll have a good time here, I promise they'll love the product that they're observing on the court or on the field. We've
That's
got
awesome.
great teams and great student athletes.
Awesome. Are there any specific events or anything that maybe y'all haven't came out with that y'all kind of plan to, that I can get a little preview of, or what are a couple specific things y'all plan to do?
Well, we're going to do a welcome back for students on September 4th for our soccer, and our men's soccer and our volleyball team plays that night. And Aiden is putting together a program for that. Our Fall Fest is in October 4th. We'll have a lot of activities out for our soccer and volleyball matches then. And you know, it's more the event that we'll create within the event. You know, we want to, when the referee blows his whistle or her whistle during a basketball game, there's a timeout. Well, we don't want the fun to end then. That's when we want to create more opportunities to engage our fans. So you'll see some in-game promotions this year. You'll see we're signing some sponsors who, when you sign sponsors, you know that they want to activate their brand at a game, and so we're going to do some cool giveaways that will keep our fans engaged while also shining a light and giving attention to the brand of those who support us.
Awesome. And kind of a question that I have for you towards me, me now working with Talent Student Media, how can we kind of help y'all, but more so work alongside the athletics program to kind of help grow that type of engagement that you're talking about? How can we help y'all?
I'll tell the story, and I'll do a better job connecting with you and your staff, and Leslie and Dalton. We've got great folks working in our media relations department. They're going to be great as well. Not only reporting the results, but sharing the stories of our student athletes. I think we've done a great job reporting results, but we've got some stories out there that need to be told. And what I'd like to see over the next year is our fans, our students, our community getting to know the people behind the number. The personalities, the stories behind those numbers.
I agree with you completely. I feel like a lot of times, like you said, not just reporting the school, places I've been at, a lot of times it's just, all right, pre-game, what game's going on today, and recap what happened to the game. When it's more than that, they're athletes and they're out there playing a game, but these are people, and there's a community, especially here in Tyler. I found, moving from Dallas, more so than Dallas with so many schools, is that the Tyler community, they're looking to back these athletic programs. Like, they want to get involved. So I think there's a lot of things that we can work together on for sure to kind of get these students more out there.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception that our student athletes are different than everyone else. No, they've also got assignments due.
Yep.
They also have a hard time connecting as new students sometimes. They go through the same struggles everyone else does. Again, I just want to connect our student athletes with our students a little better than we've done in the past. And the same is true with the community. And man, I think you and your team, your willingness to get out there and help us tell those stories, show some of those personalities,
Sure.
would help our students understand, hey, Patty on the basketball team is not so much different than Chase, even though he's 7 foot tall and from Australia.
I wish. Maybe not.
No, Patty 7 foot tall from Australia.
Chase 7 foot tall. I wish. So yeah, that's awesome stuff that we can definitely work together on. So kind of what's some advice you have to someone like myself who I feel like for my age, I have a good amount of experience in sports media, but again, I always want to improve. And what are a couple things that you feel like young journalists can do to get more on that side of getting the personal stories and the behind the scenes stuff when it comes to athletes?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would say, as far as improving, find yourself a mentor.
Hmm.
Find your find someone who's doing what you want to do, and connect with them, and ask them that question. You
Hmm.
know, read. Are you a reader? When's the last time you read a book to get better?
I'm not a reader, but I force myself.
Okay. Well, see, yeah, I mean, just anything you can do, just adopting a growth mindset, and um, just focused on, you mentioned it earlier, getting 3% better or 1% better every day is a huge piece of that. Um, keeping your I think when you're humble, you're keeping your humility is important. Even if you get to gym Nance level,
Yep.
if you stay humble, then you don't think you've got it all figured out. As soon as you start thinking you've got it all figured out is when you start moving backwards. So um, I think just staying humble, finding yourself a mentor, asking lots of questions, being a good listener, all really important variables in growth. I think I've mentioned a couple guys to you that I'd love to connect you with that have done it at a high level that they could share much more wisdom for you in this field than I can. But and I just think a mentor, I could not stress that enough, how important that is.
And I have one that I don't know if you've met him yet, but you definitely will at some point. Dr. John Groth, who I had on one of my previous episodes, who's the voice of the baseball team.
Yes, yes.
He has been awesome for me, man.
Former
He's
head coach at former head coach at TJC, right?
Yep, and he's been
Yeah,
doing play-by-play for TJC and UT Tyler for about 20 years, I believe. I mean, the
yeah,
athletics program started what 2009, so not as long for UT Tyler, but
yeah.
yeah, he's been great. He's a great guy. He's very knowledgeable about sports media and specifically broadcasting, which is what I want to be in. And he's been great.
Yeah. Chase, when I look back at my career and all the things that have happened, the good things that have happened, I've realized that people push me up. They've
Mhm.
pushed me up more than I've climbed. It's people in your life are so
You
important.
can't do it on your own.
No,
That's what it comes
takes a
down to,
village,
and
man.
that's anything.
Takes a village, and the sooner you realize that you can't do it alone, then the further you'll get, because
Hmm.
and then you just pay it forward. Someone will do something nice for you, like Lance Barrow I mentioned. I'll connect you with him at some point. He'll do something nice for you. You probably end up with a job at CBS one of these days, and then in 10 years,
It's the
you do
plan.
something nice for somebody else, and they landed CBS themselves. So, um, and that's the beauty of the sports industry in particular, is relationships are so important here. And generally, when you find an opportunity in sports, it's because of a relationship you've had, or a relationship someone that has led you to that opportunity.
So what have been a couple of the biggest relationships you've had um, in this industry? What are a couple that have pushed you along the way?
The most important one is a gentleman named Charles Harris. Charles was the AD at Averett, my alma mater, and he was the former AD at Arizona State. He's been the AD at University of Pennsylvania in the Ivy League, and he was the commissioner of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. And somehow he ended up at Averett University, my alma mater, and worked for him there. And I mean, you talk about a guy who just opened doors for me, made introductions to people, from Craig Littlepage, who was the AD at Virginia at the time, to Gene Cady, former basketball coach at Purdue. All connections that Charles had that I now have as well. Um, that was a big one. And Charles, the great thing about him was, before we got on air, you talked about failing forward.
Hmm.
Charles allowed me to fail forward. He promoted me beyond my ability several times, and I would not be where I'm at today, or have the even the family I have today without Charles Harris. So he'd be a really, he's the most important one. Others, Jim Vrujink, who was the SID at Purdue University, longtime SID there, has been a mentor of mine. Legendary football coach Grant Taff. When I went to McMurray, Coach Taff was, he's an alumnus of McMurray, went on to coach at Baylor. He was the head coach of Baylor, led them to a Southwestern Conference Championship, Southwest Conference Championship in 1972, their first in 50 years. And, guys like that just poured into me and encouraged me and made important introductions. And then the president that, Dr. Philly's fabulous. She's been great and making important introductions to help make this transition to Tyler a smooth one. Another president I had that is very similar to her is a lady who was the president at Averett University named Tiffany Franks. Again, there's so many. I could go on. Sandra Harper at McMurray, Phil Schubert at ACU, Zach Lassiter at ACU, Keith Patterson, the head football coach at ACU is, he's a guy that I talk to every day, not every day, a couple times a week still, that just helps me lead. I'm a better leader because of all those folks.
And I feel like a big thing that people tend to, I don't want to say not think about, but almost look past when they're in a position similar to mine, where sports media, it's so important. Obviously, you went on and on about it, about networking. And for those 15 people you just named, it's probably another 150 that you treated right and that you connected with, and you did something that you didn't need to do for, and you bent it over backwards to help them. That maybe nothing came from it, but you'll never get the 15 that you named without going out of your way to network and treat people correctly.
And so Craig Littlepage said this to me. I remember we were on stage handing out awards to student athletes at Averett. He was our guest speaker that night. And we were just talking in between award announcements. And he said, Sam, you always want to be the type of person others want to help. And that's kind of why we have the core values we have here at UT Tyler. Is it starts with character. We want to be good people, the type of people others want to help. We want to operate with integrity. Community is the next one. We want to value people. We want to build community. And you do those two things. I could go on forever there, but no, man, it's if you can't always make it about you. I think about another name I should have mentioned is Ian McCaw at Liberty University. He's a guy that's been great for me in my career, and I would call him a mentor as well. I can't think of anything I can do for Ian. What am I going to do for Ian? Yeah, there's very little, but I can encourage him. That's one thing I can do.
Sometimes a big thing my dad taught me growing up is sometimes it might just come down to doing the things for someone that anybody can do. You say, what can you do for him? There's certain things that you can do for anyone, regardless of how advanced they are in your career or whatever. You just do the things anybody can do for anybody.
Yeah. So if I see some news come out that impacts Ian, I can text him, hey man, I'm praying for you. If he has a big win, Ian, that was a great win, man. They're lucky to have you as the AD at Liberty. I can encourage him. I can't make a phone call and help him get a job, but I can pump his tires.
There's little things that go a long way. That's what you're trying to get to. So talking about mentorship, be my mentor for a little bit. What advice would you give to somebody who's 22 years old, like myself, in the sports media world specifically? How would you, go about getting better, if you want to make it a broad thing, or how would you just go about getting into that field?
Again, introducing yourself to as many people as possible, having the courage to step out of your comfort zone and walk up to and connect with someone who may feel like they're out of touch with, they may be untouchable. Lance Barrow, I'll drop that name again, another mentor of mine, great guy. Lance is at CBS. He got a job at CBS because he walked up to someone and said, "Hey, I want to help you with this golf tournament." And it was at the Colonial, and they ended up putting him in a booth at the 18th green, I think, with Pat Summerall.
Really?
And Pat Summerall ended up liking Lance so much because Lance connected, was a good guy, was fun to be with, that they offered him a job as a college senior at Abilene Christian. Lance was flying to NFL games on Sunday and flying home Sunday night and going to class Monday morning because he just stuck himself out there. Having the courage to do that, having the courage to say yes to opportunities like that, having the courage to do something maybe you don't want to do, but may lead you to the next big thing. It's all about courage, honestly. So treat people well, have character, value people, community, and then just have the courage to do things that maybe make you feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. And I think a big thing, especially in the age of social media and a camera being in everybody's face wherever they go, regardless if you're an athlete or not, I think a big thing that people get in their mind is being scared to fail. Like you can't be scared to fail, especially in this industry, because like we were talking about before we went live, like you're going to fail in life. What is the point of being scared? Like it's inevitable. Failure is going to come. Kind of talk a little bit about that, specifically in sports.
Yeah. Well, if you don't fail, you haven't gone far enough. If you haven't failed at anything, then you're not going to reach your potential. I mean, how do you know you've reached your potential until, just like in the weight room, right? How do you know when you can't do any more reps? Well, when you fail, and that's when you're actually that's when you're actually building. So, I mean, we talked about I forget how many elections Abraham Lincoln lost before he finally became president, or how many times Thomas Edison had failed inventions before the one that really broke through. I mean, you've got to try new things. I told a staff member here recently, I said, "Hey man, I want to see you fail some." And what I meant by that is go try new things, do things a little bit differently, have the courage to step outside the box. And, if you treat people well, then they'll give you the leash, the long enough leash where, hey, if you fail a time or two, then we've got the community that's strong enough to forgive you for that. Having the ability to take calculated risks is important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you try new things, you're gonna find failure, but you learn from those. And I look back. I've actually sent letters to people that used to work with me and apologized. Because Lord knows I failed as an athletic director at Averett, and I still have to apologize to people today. We never get it figured out, man. When you think you've got it figured out, that's when you're going to fail big.
Yeah, that's when you're just getting started.
Yeah.
So I talked a little bit about my dad and a couple of things he's instilled in me, switching to fatherhood a little bit. You have two boys, right? Caden is
11,
and then you have Angelo is close to my age, right? Is he 20, 21?
He's 21, yes, sir.
Okay, so what are some of the kind of core values you try to instill in your boys, and how do you kind of show them how to go about life through sports and being around kind of an industry that is weekends, late nights, early mornings type of thing?
Yeah. Well, I wish I were better at this. I would. This job comes with sacrifices, and unfortunately, one of the sacrifices has been time with family. And so, what I've done is I've tried to make my family a part of my job. So, Angelo is still in Abilene, but Caden, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone at UT Tyler on the coaching staff that does not know who Caden is. He is here.
Unavoidable.
He is loud and proud whenever he's around. And so I've really tried to make UT Tyler, ACU when I was there, McMurray when I was there, Averett when I was there, make those events part of our social calendar, to make those families part of our family. We love to have student athletes over to our home. We don't have a home yet. We're in transition right now, but when we get a house and a home, we're gonna have the student athletes over, and they're gonna get to know Caden. I want my son Caden to look up to these men and women because they're impressive people. But it's all about hospitality. I want my sons to just treat people well, to value others, and to make the people around them feel like they're more important because of how they've been treated by the Ferguson family.
That's good stuff. So how, and this is a big question, and don't think too much of it. Kind of, I almost want it to be right off the dome. How do you want to be remembered in your time at UT Tyler?
Man, the first thing off the dome is, because we've been so successful here, is I want to be remembered as the guy that didn't screw it up, because I got here and it's going well. But honestly, I want to be remembered like Kirk Chandler is remembered by me. Like that's my basketball coach in college. Like Besa Hiltunen, the AD there at Averett when I was there. How I remember him. Charles Harris. I want to be remembered as someone who valued others and worked hard to add value to those around him, and hopefully made a difference in at least one life. I mean, it's not about buildings and championships. I think that it's about people.
Yeah.
And I want to be remembered as someone who valued people.
And that was like, I might just leave it off at that. That was a good quote. But I do want to do a couple fun questions before we wrap up.
Okay, I like fun.
Out of all the sports on campus,
oh boy,
you had to pick one.
Oh, here we go.
Take off the AD suit and coach tomorrow. Which team would it be?
Which team would I coach?
Yep.
If I could coach tomorrow, on the UT Tyler campus or just in general?
Just in general. Well, no, on the UT Tyler campus first, but then I didn't even think about that. We'll go in general next.
Okay. So if I could coach any team, man, I grew up, Dean Smith was my guy. Do you know who Dean Smith is?
I recognize the name, but it's also.
Oh my goodness. I'm so old, Chase.
All right, I'm going to write it down. Look.
Dean Smith, he's won 2 national championships at the University of North Carolina. He coached a guy named Michael Jordan. Have you heard of him?
Did he? Dean Smith? I thought that was
It was Dean Smith. Trust me.
It was Dean Smith. Okay.
Dean Smith coached the University of North Carolina. So I wanted to be a basketball coach coming out of college. Volunteered a little bit with Averett. So I would say probably basketball, but I love all of our teams. So don't.
No,
you made me pick one.
I respect that you didn't go right away. What'd you say?
You made me pick one, man.
I mean, I gotta respect. Like I was gonna say that you didn't just go softball, back-to-back national champions. I mean, that's just the easiest fill-in ever.
Those are big shoes. Those are big shoes,
Big
man.
shoes to fill.
And hey, you stay tuned. And Tim Mosier, what he's doing, the recruiting class he has for men's basketball, those shoes are getting bigger and bigger to fill too. Excited about all of our teams.
Yeah. Now, what about? I'm gonna flip what you kind of flipped my question to. If you could coach one team ever, any sport, who would it be? Specific on the year. Who would you?
Specific
what
on
team
the
would
year.
you coach?
One team specific on the year. You know what? I'd be an assistant coach. I'd be an assistant coach for the 1987 Purdue basketball team. I told you Charles Harris he connected me with Gene Katie, and anyway, I just love the intensity of that guy. He's so intense when he's competitive, but he's like a teddy bear when he's off of the stage. And yeah, I think I'd like to be a part of that Big Ten run team, and and just be a fly on the wall in those team meetings, or Baylor. I, there's a great podcast out called Beyond the Game, which takes a lot of Grant Taft's speeches and presentations he gave when he was the head football coach at Baylor.
Mhm.
And some of his speeches are epic. And so just to be there in real time. So I'd either want to be an assistant coach for Grant Taft at Baylor at any point, or an assistant for Gene Katie
It's awesome.
at Purdue, 1987 in particular.
Awesome. So that's honestly really all I got. Is there anything that maybe we touched on that you want to go back over, or maybe add on to, or is there anything else you want to say? The floor is kind of yours.
Well, I want to ask you, man, what got you into covering sports?
Okay, so
Put you on the hot seat, man.
I hadn't the first two episodes. I didn't. Ben, who's my cousin who has a big college baseball podcast, and then John, they didn't
Yeah.
put me on the hot seat. Jack kind of in my last episode did a little bit, but gosh, I didn't do research on myself. But no. So I grew up in and around sports. My sister, my whole childhood, I can remember she played soccer at a 6A high school called Saxe High School, which is where I ended up going and playing basketball. So I played 2 years on varsity, and then after my senior year, I had two offers to play at the University of Arkansas Cossatot and Eastfield, Dallas College Eastfield, two junior colleges. So I decided to go to Eastfield. Long story short, the coach that was there that I signed to, why am I? Oh, Coach Fletcher. That was going to be bad. Coach Fletcher was going to be on me if I forgot his name. But Coach Anthony Fletcher, who had been there for I think 14 or 15 years, brought Eastfield to multiple Final Fours. Basically, first day of class, they changed coaches. So ultimately, I ended up getting redshirted and then cut after the year. So that led me to look for other spots to play. I still wanted to play college basketball.
Yeah.
And that led me from Mesquite to Garland Richardson area, which is Dallas College Richland, which was basically Eastfield's crosstown rival. And I had a coach there who was the pitching coach, Heath Welch is his name, who was my coach when I played baseball when I was like 10 or 11. And I had kind of thought about not giving up basketball, but maybe trying to find somewhere to play while also pursuing a career in sports media, just because I love sports. You know what I mean? Even if I did decide to stop playing basketball, I knew sports is what I wanted to be around. It's what I had passion in. So I ended up talking to Coach Welch, and he put me in contact with Dr. Lynn Nabby, who was the athletic director at Richland. And I believe he is now oversees don't quote me on this, I believe he oversees all athletics for all of the Dallas College schools. And Mr. Nabby, along with I'm blanking on Jim McCurdy, who was a web content creator, web content coordinator for all the Dallas colleges. They ended up giving me so much hands-on experience I could do, and presented me with a lot of opportunities that I got a real interest in. And I had Richland and then also Dallas College Brookhaven that I was kind of interested in playing in, but I I felt very attracted to sports media, and I was presented with a lot of opportunities to get hands-on experience. And Mr. Nabby and Jim McCurdy gave me a bunch of contacts and networking opportunities, and I was able to get experience with sports photography, journalism. I got to broadcast 10, maybe 12 baseball games. I got to do about the same amount of basketball games for Richland. And then Jim also put me in contact with that's a bad thing about getting put on the spot. I don't know how you were naming off names so quickly. Um, but a contact at Dallas College Northlake. So they have what they call NLC Live TV, which is
Mm.
literally a entire professional production class. And just so happened they needed a play-by-play guy to fill in for the production class because they got all the cameras, all the graphics, everything like that. They just needed a talent, and so that gave me a lot of opportunity to kind of get hands-on work. And one thing led to another, and I here I am in Tyler. So it
Man.
was a combination of knowing in my mind what my passion was, which was sports, and kind of just following God's plan in that the basketball thing, playing basketball, it didn't work out, but I kept an open mindset and saw the opportunities that, Mr. Abbey and Jim McCurdy were able to present me with, and just kind of running with it. And I'm loving where I'm at right now, and loving the process of everything. So that's kind of what's led me to Tyler.
Well, well, man, we've got plenty of opportunities for you once the season rolls around. If there's anything we can do to help you, I hope you'll
Absolutely.
let me know. And one of these days, if you're up for it, we'll make a road trip. We'll go meet. There's two alumni that you have to meet: Matt
I'll have
Riccardi,
to.
who is at with the Dallas Mavericks, and also Tevin Brown, also with the Dallas Mavericks. They'd be great
That'd be
podcast
awesome.
guests for you. And on that same trip, we'll keep going to Fort Worth, and I'll work it out where you can meet Lance Barrow. Lance is in the Sports Broadcasters Hall of Fame, and um, he'd be a great connection for you.
That's awesome. Again, Sam, that feels terrible just the way I was raised calling you by your first name.
Hey, you
But
should hear what others call me, man. Sam is an upgrade from what I get called a lot, I'm sure.
no, but I really appreciate your time, especially as I said, going into your first year, just being able to make the time for a student journalist like myself. It's helped me out more than you're able to see for right now, and more than I'm able to see for right now. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Well, I appreciate what you do to publicize our teams, and appreciate what you will do to continue doing that. And please,
I'm
again,
looking forward
anything
to
we
it.
can do to help you, man, I hope you'll let me know. We want to be good partners.
Again, for all the listeners, this has been Behind the Call. I'm Chase Upton, Dr. Sam Ferguson. Thank you for listening.